Good evening. My name is Richard Balo. I'd like to answer this question dealing with density of rocks. Rocks are made up out of minerals, so if the minerals making up the rocks have a high density or have a high weight for their volume, then the rock composed of those minerals will have a high density. On the other hand, if a rock has low density minerals, then the rock's going to be of a low density or light in weight. It turns out, it's really kind of cool, that the lighter in color the rock is, the lower the density of minerals that make it up. And the darker in color the rock is, the more high density minerals it makes up the rock. Making them high density means they've got more iron and magnesium to them. So the diagram I have here on this page is a common diagram in all geology books. This is looking at igneous rocks and how they're classified. And igneous rocks were once molten liquid and they cooled off. As they cool off, different minerals are produced. Of interest to us right now is this line right here, which says density. Notice that on the left side is low density, on the right side is high density. So all we have to do is to look up here at the top of the diagram and look at the rocks on the left side, like the granite here. A granite and a rhyolite and the rock on the left side are made up out of minerals that have a lower density. Those minerals are quartz, potassium feldspar. These are minerals that do not weigh as much per volume as the higher density minerals do. These are the rocks that make up the continental crust. So the continental crust has the lowest density of the choices in this question. On the right side of the diagram, we have basalt and gabbro. There's basalt, there's gabbro. These are the rocks that make up the oceanic crust. What kind of density are the minerals used in these rocks? Come down here and notice that they are minerals we call pyroxene, largely pyroxene, plagioclase feldspar to some extent, but notice it's to the right on the density scale. That means that these rocks have a higher density mineral composition. So the oceanic crust has the next highest density there. And the mantle, which is below the crust, is made up out of peridotite, right there. And the peridotite, as you can see, has even a higher density, right? So I'll put a 2 next to that one. And the highest density of all will be the core. It's even off the scale. It's so far off here, it's way off. We think the core, based upon not observation in our hand, we've never seen a rock from the core in our hand, but by the behavior of, seems to be almost 100% iron, which would fall in the density scale way off to the right. So we can summarize this whole thing by just saying the rocks that are made up out of the lower density minerals, namely the rocks that make up the continental crust, have a lower density overall because the minerals that make them up have a lower density, whereas the rocks that make up the core have the highest density iron, and the others fall in between.